All right, and we are back here for episode 2 of the Pittsburgh Pirates save that we're doing here in Out of the Park 26. We finished last season, in case you didn't watch, 74 and 88. Actually, pretty good. I was kind of hoping to lose more games because we're looking for a good spot in the lottery, but we had a pretty good July, and then after we kind of had a little bit of a fire sale at the deadline, we had a scorching hot August, 18 and 11, cooled off in September. Um, in case you didn't watch last time, or if you need a refresher, we can go ahead and go through a couple of these trades that we made. These were the only three we did right here. First one, we sent IKF to Cleveland, where he was not very good at all. We got this guy, Joe Lampe, whose ratings have come down a bit, but he looks really good. We're going to hire a new head scout in a little bit, so we'll see how that person feels about Lampe. But I like those ratings a lot. I mean, he's never going to strike out. Really good defensive center fielder. I don't think he's probably a World Series center fielder, but he's a center fielder that can help you win around 85 or 90 games. We also got Will Brennan, who was really excellent for us after he came over. 121 OPS plus, 1 WAR in 50 games, not bad at all. Then we got Christian Cairo, who we think could be a pretty good backup infielder for us. Can play second, third, and short pretty fast. Decent hitter, not really, but he can hold his own with the bat. Second trade we did, we sent a couple of relievers over to Detroit. Bednar and Dennis Santana, along with Jared Triolo. And we received Chase Lee, who is a young reliever, barely any service time. His ratings have gone down since we traded for him pretty considerably, but he was quite good after we got him. 20 saves, a lot of strikeouts, much more than you'd expect with that 50 stuff rating. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll reserve our ratings judgments until we get our new head scout in. We also grabbed Jace Young in that deal, the young third baseman or second baseman, but I see him as more of a third baseman for sure. He was not good at all for us. We called him up in September, on September 1st, moved him in there in place of Ke'Bryan Hayes. So we'll see how he ends up turning out. And then we also got Sawyer Gipson Long, who is, oh wow, his ratings have gone up since we got him actually. He was excellent for us down the stretch. 4-0, 3.06 ERA, 11 games started. Really nice ratios over here. He was a 2.5-star player when we traded for him. He is up to 3. So that is nice. Appreciate that. And then the big one, we shipped Brian Reynolds and his considerable contract over to the Cincinnati Reds. He was not very good after they got him. I'm guessing they're probably already regretting this, but should have been a little smarter, Cincinnati. And we also sent them Caleb Ferguson, who also was not good for them down the stretch at all. He was really good for us at the beginning of the year, and then he kind of stunk it up for Cincinnati. I mean, wow, he didn't give up a homer all year, so he was actually, not pitching terribly at all. Too many walks, but you see the .4 WAR. That does not correspond with the 5.12 ERA. Looks like he was getting pretty unlucky. 3.27 BABIP can tell you that as well. And in return, we got a pair of Will Bees, along with Will Brennan. We got Will Banfield, a really good defensive catcher who we could see, being our backup catcher for the next 5-6 years. I would say probably, honestly, next year. I mean, depending on how the offseason shakes out and where our need is at, even next year he could be up as the backup catcher for us, but probably preferably a year from now. And then we also got Will Benson, who his ratings have gone down since we got him. He is just not very good, I don't think. I think it's to the point where we can say pretty confidently that he is not a very good ball player, but, he's a guy who can fill a spot and maybe hit a few home runs, walk a little bit. So, you see that. We went through stats last time, but we'll go quick. I mean, Paul Skeens had a really, really good year. None of our hitters really had good years. O'Neal Cruz was our best, according to WAR. And he was just barely a better than league average hitter. And struck out 203 times, so that is really not what you want. Other than that, I think we will hop right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and this is something if you play out of the park, I would recommend doing it. It is a pain in the butt, but it is really in my experience, I've noticed a difference. Especially when you're playing with a smaller market team with a lower budget like the Pirates, it is really worthwhile, I think, to sign coaches, minor league coaches that have really good. Usually, I look for development ratings, and I try to get guys with good mechanics ratings too. My understanding is that the mechanics ratings kind of influences like talent randomness. So, like, if you get a guy with a good mechanics ratings, then maybe he fixes somebody's mechanics and their ratings go up, type of thing, and then development, obviously. So, I'm going to go ahead and go through and do that, and then another thing we're going to do, we can do this right now. We are going to go ahead and jack up our player development budget. 35 million is usually what I go for. We are trying to put a competitive product on the field as quickly as possible, but I think that's really worth it, especially in the long run, to spend a little bit more, or well, a lot bit more money on player development. There's usually one other thing I do, but I'm sure I'll come around to it. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and make these personnel changes off camera and see in a bit. All right, so that was a total pain in the butt. Probably took about 20 minutes or something. But we got offers out to all these guys, everybody with good development ratings, everything like that. I think the next order of business is probably to head over to the development lab over here. And you might call this cheap or whatever. So I like to play. Um, I usually make the programs a little bit less difficult and make the improvement magnitude larger just because it's a little more fun. And if you don't do that, I've noticed the development lab, you might get like one or two outstandings every 3 years, but it's not like it doesn't go crazy though. It's you'll see, it's pretty reasonable. But that's what I like to do. Um, so we'll start off. Paul Skeens, we can send him. Only question is, do we want to go for movement or control? Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say control. Okay. Jace Young, we'll definitely want to send him somewhere. Probably want to go generate bat speed, which corresponds with power. So we'll ask him to learn to generate a little bit more bat speed. Henry Davis, I got half a mind to send him to learn to be a better catcher development camp, but we'll send him to contact for now. Maybe we'll send him to the improved defense one later in the offseason. Braxton Ashcraft, I mean, I would really like for him to increase his stamina a little bit. So maybe we will try to do that. I can't remember if it's strength and can. Okay, no, it's endurance training. So we'll see how that goes for him. Not a whole ton of guys that we're really super excited about doing this for, but O'Neill Cruz, I know where we're sending him. 203 strikeout, Mr. 203 strikeouts. Try to get him to improve on his two-strike approach. That's an easy one. Sawyer Gibson Long, we can send him to try to increase his movement. The difference between that 50 and 55 home runs allowed, I think, is definitely worth it. So we'll ask him to increase his pitch movement. Not really anyone else in here that's screaming at me. So we'll go ahead and head over to the minor league side. Bubba Chandler is injured, unfortunately, so we can't ask him to do anything. Thomas Harrington, I think we will have him try to increase velocity, which corresponds with increased stuff. Will Banfield, we can try to get him to improve that eye maybe a little bit, because that is pretty bad. Get him to work on his plate discipline. We just don't really have a ton of guys that are, any good at all. So Jack Brannigan, he looks like a pretty interesting young player. Maybe we will send him, see if he can add some power to his game, generate bat speed. We'll try to get Levi Sterling to increase his velocity a little bit. I don't know if it's actually worth it sending these prospects down here. I haven't had a ton of success with it, but we don't really have a whole lot of other options. We can send Termar Johnson in there. Let's see. Maybe try to get him to improve his bat speed as well. So that's how we are going to line up the player development lab for now. I'm going to offer some contracts to these guys off camera. Get back to you on that. All right, so it is going to be a little bit of a clearing of house. I offered contracts to these 5 gentlemen: Falter, Benson, Solak, Swinsky, Cruz. All of the rest of these guys we are not going to retain. So we'll free up some money with that. We're not going to retain any of these free agents, nor will we worry about Luis Sessa. Oh, geez, I'm glad I noticed this. Will Banfield, pending minor league free agent. That would have sucked. No, we don't really want to give him a major league deal, though. Yeah, let's see. See if we'll take that. Oh, and this guy, we actually just made a minor trade for him a second ago. Notice that Joey Bart was supposed to get paid $3.5 million this year. That didn't really sound very good to me, so I flipped him for Jairo Solis, who doesn't really look like a whole lot. Probably not a great pitcher, but he has the potential to have a really good home runs allowed rating. Probably never going to reach that. Probably never going to improve much from where he is right now as a 25-year-old, but worth the risk. And, we were just going to non-tender Joey Bart anyway, so at least we get something out of him, assuming that he will accept this minor league extension. Anyway, that is it for the things that happen, right at the very beginning of the offseason. So I think we will simulate ahead to the award season and talk to you then. All right, so we are here one day ahead of the Great Glove, aka the Gold Glove Awards, being announced. Our coaching staff is all figured out. A couple of names you might recognize here. Joe Girardi is going to be our bench coach. Rick Jamieson, if you are a seasoned out-of-the-park player, you know the legend that is Rick Jamieson, the best trainer in the game by far. Brett Boone, Aaron Boone's brother, is going to be our hitting coach in AAA. Sorry to him that Indianapolis is a cool city, so it's not like he's in Altoona. No offense if anyone listening is from Altoona. But that is that. So we'll go ahead and see if we won any awards this year. I kind of doubt it. Don't think that we have anyone. Yeah, no Gold Glovers. I think our best shot, honestly, might be Cy Young with Paul Skeens, but we'll see. All right, so we got our Gold Glovers here. You can take a look. Ben Williamson, pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but that's cool. All right. No Pittsburgh Pirates selected. No huge surprises out here, I would say. Ryan McMahon wins his first ever Gold Glove. Good for him. We will go ahead and see who the relievers of the year are. Abner Uribe, nice. 1.93 ERA this year, or no, a 1.32 ERA for the Milwaukee Brewers this year. I was able to pick up Abner Uribe in my Dynasty Fantasy League. No one got him in the draft. It's our first year, and man, he looks like a stud. I can't believe that I didn't think of drafting him and that no one else did either. And in the AL, it was a 3-horse race only. Joan Duran wins it for the Twins. He had an excellent season. Wow. 2.5 WAR, 70 innings. That's awesome. See if any Pirates made the list. Nope. Here are the Platinum Sticks, aka the Silver Sluggers. No Pirates win. Not a huge surprise. Looks like Manny Machado had a heck of a year. Here in the AL, Cal Raleigh finished up with 47 home runs. Here on June 21st in real life, he just hit his 30th today, so I think it's a pretty fair bet to say, barring injury, he is going to smash that mark in real life. Ryan O'Hearn had a great year. Brandon Lowe, Can't remember because there's Zach Lowe or Zach Lau also on the Rays. Jose Ramirez with another great year. Bobby Witt, Aaron Judge. I mean, this is crazy. 7.2 WAR. He's already has like five, I want to say, and it's not even July yet. But whatever. Maybe he just really fell off. And then Giancarlo Stanton. Holy crap, he absolutely came on like a bat out of hell off the IL and played nearly every game for the rest of the year. Rookie of the year for the NL is going to be Agustin Ramirez of the Marlins. Braxton Ashcraft, our man, finishes second with not really that great of a year, so pretty weak NL Rookie of the Year. Oh, wow, and Chase Shugart finished third with a negative WAR, so yeah, pretty weak class this year in the NL. Let's take a look at the AL. Nick Kurtz, yep, makes sense. He looks like a future stud. Chandler Simpson had a pretty good year for the Rays. And this is a prime example of why there needs to be some kind of stat that adds stolen bases to your hitting stats, because I mean this guy was 52 for 59. I mean, how many of these singles that he hit were basically doubles? Pretty interesting though. Shugano, Will Warren, Roman Anthony, Chase McGrath, Carlos Narvaez. Oh my gosh, Roman Anthony's hitting stats are going to be ridiculous if he realizes them. Wow. Um, all right, just a couple more awards coming. I would probably guess we're not going to win NL Manager of the Year. Okay, didn't send me an email for it. Weird, but that's fine. We didn't win, I'm sure. Hey, there we go. Paul Skeens is the NL Cy Young by just a hair over Zach Wheeler, who also had an excellent year, but Paul Skeens had a better year, even though he was on kind of a crummy team. I mean, wow. Just look at this. So, Paul Skeens adds a little bit of hardware, hopefully not the last, that he will collect in a Pirates uniform. And we will go ahead and look at the MVPs. Aaron Judge in the AL, no surprise. Cal Raleigh gets 1 vote. Tarek Skubal gets 1 vote. Oh, didn't even look at the AL Cy Young, but Skubal wins it. 2.15 ERA, 275 strikeouts, and 222 innings. I mean, wow. Garrett Crochet comes in second. Really good year, too. Jacob deGrom with a vintage year, but then he tore his shoulder. Ugh, poor guy. Rodon had a really great year. Wow. Max Fried finished just behind him. Pretty good crop of pitchers in the American League this year. AL's best player is Judge, like we said. Jacob Wilson gets some votes. Pretty interesting. I mean, his ratings, I mean, he should have 80. He should have 80 all around on contact at this point. I mean, he's not really walking a whole lot, but he's hitting like 360, I want to say, in real life. That's absolutely ridiculous. Here in the NL, Shohei Ohtani wins the MVP. Looks like he made 13 starts around the stretch. 3.38 ERA. Pete Alonso. Let's see if any of our guys got any votes. I would think that Paul Skeens would get at least a vote, but apparently not. And I just realized we never even looked at who won the World Series, and I actually don't know either. Looks like the Yankees avenged their loss. Beat the Dodgers 4-2. Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians, two of the teams we made deadline trades with, matched up in the ALDS. Tigers won that, but the Yankees beat them in Game 7. Dodgers cruised through the playoffs before they ran into the mighty Bronx Bombers. So that would have been pretty fun. I'm a Yankees fan in real life, so don't hate me. Don't click off the video, please. But if you do, I understand. Holy crap, Mitch Voigt is at number 6 ranked prospect. That's freaking awesome. 3rd round pick. He hasn't even pitched a professional game, and somehow everyone's decided that they really missed out on him in the draft. And Carlos Martinez, number 47 too. Wow. So really, really good draft for us as far as it looks like right now. Eli Willits, number 50. Pretty sweet. Pretty good stuff. All right, so that's it for the awards. We'll be back at the start of free agency, and that's when we'll really start to firm up the plan of what we're going to be doing this offseason. So, see you then. All right, so we are actually a couple of days ahead of free agency filing, but I thought that right now might not be a bad time to make our first trade of the offseason. And the man who we are looking at to get rid of is going to be Mitch Keller, making 17 million next year, 18 mil the year after that, 20 and a half the year following. Just too much money. I'm not really sure what the Pirates were thinking when they signed to this deal. It was signed before last season. And in 2023, I mean, he was good, for sure. He was very good. And he had a good season before that. But for the Pittsburgh Pirates to hand out this type of money to that guy, I don't really get it at all. But hopefully we will be able to right that wrong and get rid of him. So we will be back if we're able to find a trade. Try to keep it realistic. Maybe we'll end up eating a little bit of the money, but we'll see. All right, so we have found a willing combatant for a Mitch Keller deal. We are going to be sending Mitch Keller, along with his contract, which you can see there, 3 more years, at around a little bit less than 60 million, probably around 55 over the next 3 years. We're also going to be sending 10 million in cash, so eating about a fifth of that, a little less than a fifth of that for the Rangers, and in return, we're going to be getting Ezekiel Duran, who I don't really think is all that valuable of a player at all, really. That I rating right here, that really is the reason. He's just, I mean, he would have to hit like 300 for him to be a productive player without much power, too. So, certainly a capable backup, I would say, though. And mainly the main focus of this trade, obviously, is getting the Mitch Keller money off the books. And that we do. So, there we go. I think we got about really just one more guy that we really, really want to get out of here. And that is Ke'Bryan Hayes. He has just really not been good at all. It's unfortunate because he is such a good defensive third baseman, and he was such an exciting player coming up. He was so good in 2020, the COVID year, but just has not worked out at the big leagues for the Buccos, unfortunately. And he never really was all that great of a minor league hitter. He had this one really pretty good year in Double-A. I think that's probably what really got people excited about him, but yeah, unfortunate. But Ke'Bryan Hayes, we will be trying to ship him out at some point, but I think we'll sim ahead a few days here to free agency. All right, so we are here at free agency, and let's take a look at these international free agents. I don't really get why this happens. Like, how is he already signed with the Tampa Bay Rays? But no biggie. That's been an issue in a lot of like years and years of OOTP games, as far as I can remember. But not a big deal. Still the best game that I've ever played. My favorite game ever. So what we're going to try to do this offseason, obviously we have Paul Skeens as our number one starter. We're going to try to surround him with a competent competent pitching staff, competent starters, competent relievers. There's only so much we can do, but we'll try our best. And then, as far as the lineup, we are going to try to build the best defensive lineup that we can, because I think that that's our best bet to winning games next year. So that means that guys like Chong, Nick Gonzalez will be fine, I guess, but not really ideal. And he's honestly probably a better fit for like first base for what we're trying to do, but his bat is good enough that we will survive with him playing second, at least for now, assuming that we want to keep Spencer Horwitz around, which I really kind of do because he was pretty awesome last year when healthy. So we got that locked in. I'm not totally sold on Jace Young being our third baseman next year. Ke'Bryan Hayes, honestly, if we're not able to move him, would be a nice guy to have there, even though he can't hit a lick. He is a really, really good defensive third baseman. So we'll see how that goes. Will Benson and Will Brennan are not terrible, but we would definitely like to get O'Neal Cruz to a corner, I think. Doesn't really matter. I mean, he would be an awesome right fielder with that arm, so as of right now, I think we'll say that we will plan to have O'Neal Cruz play right field, and we'll try to get a developmental lab thing going once our other ones expire and try to get him get his ratings up there. But worst case scenario, we can just play him there. We can force start him there at spring training, and eventually he'll be just fine over in right. So yeah, not really a super enviable position we're in right now because we are looking for a catcher, a shortstop, and a center fielder. So all of the premium positions we are looking to improve at. See how that goes. And I'm really not too worried about adding to the starting rotation because we have a fair number of pretty competent guys over here now. Jared Jones should be ready once next season starts. So we've got him. We got guys like Gibson Long, who looks pretty good. Ashcraft, who looks at least competent. Same with Bailey Falter, had a really good year last year. And then we have a bunch of guys coming up through the minors, and they're really knocking on the door. Like Bubba Chandler had a really good year at AAA last year. Thomas Harrington, his ratings have dropped off a bit, but he looks like he could be a pretty good pitcher for us. So, not too terribly worried about the starting rotation. Wouldn't mind adding there, but I think we're mostly going to be focusing on the bullpen, which is really pretty poor right now. I mean, outside of Chase Lee, I don't really have. I mean, I would rather not have any of these guys probably in the bullpen next year. I wouldn't mind Mladzinski as a long man. Burrows, I guess, would be a fine long man or middle reliever, but I would probably rather not have him in the bullpen. I'm sure we will. I mean, we're not going to be able to find 7 bullpen guys, but so yeah, that is kind of the plan. Take a look at these free agents. We got $52 million to spend. We have a $172 million budget and only $36 million committed next year. Bob Nutting is probably like, nope, hold the presses, stop the count, offseason over. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, not a ton of good hitters out here, especially for the positions we're looking at. Although Cedric Mullins would honestly be really, really nice. I would be pretty excited if we were able to pick him up. Take a look at the type of contract he's going to be looking for. I mean, I would definitely not want to go 6 years with him, but say maybe we went 20 million. No, I don't think we really need to go there. Maybe 18. 18. And then we go a couple of team options on the end, maybe bump those up to like 23. And if he really performs well, maybe we end up taking those. Maybe we end up trading them. Nope, that's going to be a team option. Sorry, Cedric. See if he likes this offer. Oof, he doesn't. Okay. Let's see. Can we do 4 years? We could really use Cedric Mullins, but this is just not a great looking contract. I mean, I don't think that we're gonna really enjoy paying this. I mean, we could probably always trade him, but we don't want to be unrealistic about it. We could try this, see how he feels. I really would rather not have him locked up for any more than 2 or 3 years, but all right, he doesn't mind that offer, so we send that one over to Cedric Mullins, try to get him over to Pittsburgh. Let's see, take a little bit of a closer look, but I don't really see too many guys that we're going to be looking too terribly hard at, mainly because of the prices that they're expected to command. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., no. Grisham would be nice too, honestly. Would actually like him more than Mullins. But, I mean, if we can get him on like the same deal as we gave Mullins, I would be happy about that. And I would even be willing to give him maybe a couple extra million and maybe an extra year. Whoops. Because Grisham, his defensive ratings are better and he's got power and a good eye. So that's what I like a lot about Grisham. We can move these up to 25. See how he's feeling about that one. All right, he likes it. I don't know though. That's a lot. That's a lot of money to give Trent Grisham. I don't know. It's also a lot of money to give Cedric Mullins. To be fair, I mean, once you get into free agency, you're just paying more money. That's just how it goes. Um, but either of those deals would have been done. Would be done by the time we are looking to re-sign Paul Skeens potentially. So I think we're going to revoke our offer to Cedric Mullins, and Trent Grisham will be the apple of our eye in this free agent period, and then hopefully we can grab at least a couple of relievers like Jason Adam, $3 million. Yeah, I'll do that. Works for me. Let's see, Cam Aldred. Um, no, no, that's an interesting. It's an interesting profile for him. I mean, 1.2 million. Like, why not at that point? Yeah, I'll do that. Jose Alvarado, I love him, but he's just going to be asking for too much money. I mean, if we could get him 1 year at 13 mil, no, we need to be a little bit more, a little bit smarter about how we're sending our assets around. Nick Conti, don't mind if I do. For a minor league deal, why not? Any more minor league guys? Nope. But I do see some interesting relievers down here with not too high of asking prices. I like Pete Fairbanks. Matt Strom, I would have expected his ratings to be a little better. Danny Young, like those ratings a lot. For a reliever, 65 stuff, 60 movement, 40 control. Very nice looking. See if we can grab him. Just give him $3 million as well. And Kirby Yates. I mean, Kirby Yates looks good too. Why not? Let's get Kirby Yates. Give him 3.5. And I know that this might not be the most realistic thing ever because the Pirates don't really spend money, even, you know, $9.5 million to get three good relievers in the building, and especially not this type of free agent contract. But you know what? Bob Nutting hired me. He gave me his mandate, so I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I've got the money to do it. So I think we will simulate forward a little bit to see the reactions we get from those players, see if they want to sign on and come to Pittsburgh. So we'll see you then. All right, so some big news here in Pittsburgh today. The Pittsburgh Pirates have signed Trent Grisham, a power hitting, good eye center fielder, elite defensive center fielder. Already feeling a little bit of the sticker shock, 22 million over the next 3 years, but I think it'll be all right. And we don't have a no trade clause on him, so worst case, hopefully we can get off a little bit of that money. Trent Grisham going to play center field for us. Number 19, I don't know about that. I really like him in number 12 as a Yankees fan. We don't have 12. I like 14 a little better, though, so we'll go 14 for Grish. So, yeah, that is a really big signing for us. Answers a lot of questions that we have about this team as it pertains to next year. So, we have our center fielder. Now we are really looking for a shortstop and a catcher, and we would not mind upgrading a DH as well, or third base, but you can only do so much in one offseason. So we are going to take a look around. Actually, we'll wait to hear from a couple more of those relievers, but then I think we're going to start taking a gander at the trade market. All right, so we got Danny Young. Pretty excited about that. Really like his ratings. He had a pretty decent year last year with the Mets. Not great, actually, but I think that he'll be a little better. I think he's better than that. And then Jason Adam is jockeying for a little bit more money. We'll go up to 4.5, and that's probably the last offer we'll make. For Jason Adam. And some more big news. I have not seen these yet. We're going to see them together. MLB draft lottery results. Here we go. Nothing. We get nothing. So I think that means we will be picking. Looks like the Mariners moved up from 16 to 6. So I think we'll probably be picking 7th or 8th, I guess. Probably 7th. Or no, probably 8th, rather. So that's okay. I think we'll take a look at the trade market now, since we did get at least one of those relievers. So Danny Young, that's nice. He'll probably move into a setup or stopper role depending on how we decide to build our bullpen. And yeah, we'll take a look at the trade market, maybe trying to get a DH, shortstop, catcher, or any bullpen arms that might be available. So come back to you once we start zeroing in on the deal. All right, so we have found a deal to do. The Nationals are rebuilding and appear to be aching to shed some salary, get a little bit younger and more controllable. So we are going to be trading for Mackenzie Gore. And what we are going to be sending back in return is really not a whole lot, but a decent amount. I mean, Braxton Ashcraft is a pretty highly regarded pitching prospect in real life. He is about the same age as Gore, but he has 4 extra years of control, so that's a pretty big deal. He had a good year last year, 1.4 WAR. So it's really not nothing that we're giving up. And then Nick York, who I think they probably see as a pretty exciting hitting prospect. What I see is that he can't play any position, and his hitting ratings aren't really good enough to play him at DH. So I really have no issue with getting rid of Nick York. We're going to get Gore along with Nasim Nunez, who is a decent minor league potential call-up middle infielder, and Tyler Stewart, who is just a 26-year-old throw-in pitcher who could eat some innings in the lower levels. Well, not the lower levels, the higher levels of the minors. So yeah, this is going to be our first trade of the offseason. And after that move, here is how the rotation is now looking. Paul Skeens, Mackenzie Gore, Jared Jones, Gibson Long, Bailey Falter. And then we got Bubba Chandler, Hunter Barco, Thomas Harrington waiting in the wings when someone inevitably gets injured or performs poorly. So I think our starting rotation is pretty much set for next year, and I think it's honestly pretty darn good. Still got a lot of work to do in the bullpen, a lot of work to do on the lineup, but we will get to work on that. I mean, Will Banfield, honestly, we would really not like him to be our starting catcher, but in a pinch, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, or also wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have Henry Davis, but I'd really prefer a better offensive catcher, and honestly, maybe we will look to see if we can flip Henry Davis for a better defensive catcher. All right, so we found just about the exact deal that we were looking for. We are going to be trading Henry Davis, our former first overall pick just a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, along with David Matoma, who is basically just a nobody, but got a good fastball, good slider. Maybe has a chance to be a bullpen arm one day. And looks like he's from Uganda. That's pretty interesting. Think Gift Ngope, who played for the Pirates, is maybe still the only African player ever to play in the major leagues. There might be one more, but neither here nor there. In return, we are going to be getting Patrick Bailey, who is an elite framer, a really, really good defensive catcher overall. Pretty bad with a bat. And it's the same thing in real life this year. He has been pretty awful at the plate, but he is a damn good defensive catcher. And that's what I care more about right now. And along with that, we are going to be getting Randy Rodriguez, a pretty good young reliever. Had actually an incredible season last year. Still 4 more years of team control. Not really sure why the Giants are looking to get rid of him. But, I mean, they are just dying to get rid of these relievers. I mean, we could add Camilo Doval for, like, nothing, basically, like Mlodzinski. But I'm not going to do that. This is already bordering on unrealistic, but it's really not. I mean, whatever. I mean, you want to talk about unrealistic, let's talk about this guy, right? I mean, what the heck were they thinking? But, anyway. We are going to do this deal. And yeah, I think that's going to help us a lot. That really solidifies our catcher position for next year. Gives us another pretty decent reliever who's going to be a top end reliever for us. So we will move Patrick Bailey into the catcher spot. That is all set. Got to put Grish back in there. And then at this point now, all we really need is a shortstop and a designated hitter. So, along with a few bullpen arms, but we also have a lot of those offers out. And we didn't even really look in free agency to see if we have a good option at shortstop. A couple of pretty good players are available, but nobody that I would be really like super comfortable heading into next season with at starting a shortstop for me. Bo Bichette would be kind of interesting, but too much money. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we can see if there is anyone who fits that DH role. I mean, Marcell Ozuna would be pretty sweet, but I'm sure he's asking for a lot of money. Yeah, 27 million. That is way more than we can afford. I would assume that the same is the case with Eugenio Suarez, and it is. So yeah, we're gonna have to kind of be pounding the pavement here for these next couple of months, trying to figure out where we are going to get productive players from to occupy those two spots. But I'm sure that we'll figure it out. Be nice if we could just go sign Kyle Tucker, but fortunately Bob Nutting says no, so we will take a look around a little bit more, maybe simulate a little bit further, and maybe we'll see at the Rule 5 draft. All right, so we quickly get some more good news that Kirby Yates has decided to sign on with the Pirates. So we get another good bullpen arm going, and I'm starting to think that this team might honestly not be all that bad. I mean, I don't really think it's likely that we're going to make the playoffs next year, probably, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to be horrible. All right, here at the Rule 5 draft, our 40-man is a little bit clogged up, and I think all of these guys, I'll probably leave Nunez because we don't even have a shortstop at this point. He's our best defensive shortstop, but other than that, I think we can probably. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I think we can probably get going on this. I mean, John Kesney, Noel. Okay, I guess we signed him. The CPU signed him. I'm not too worried about leaving him open. I think I'll put Iro Solis on the 40-man. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Definitely want to get Termar on there. Definitely want to get Lampy on there. Po Yu Chen. I mean, would like to get him on there, I guess. Alright. I think that should be alright. Yeah, I think that's all good. So we got one spot open going into the Rule 5 draft. Maybe see if we can get um, a decent reliever. All right, so I think that probably the only pick that we're going to go ahead and make right here is Brian Mata, a 26-year-old starter in the Red Sox organization. He is injured. He's fragile. 7 months left out with a torn elbow ligament, so he should be back around June. He's got good home runs allowed rating. Just because why not? You know, he won't be able to start this season on the team anyway. He's just basically all he does is eat up a spot on the 40-man, and by the time he comes back, if we don't have use for him, we'll just release him. But that's all we're going to do for this Rule 5 draft. And we don't lose anyone. That is good news. So, as for free agents, we still have offers out to Jason Adam and Cam Aldred, who I don't really care about, but we do have an offer out to him. We got $10 million bucks to work with. We still need a shortstop. We would still like a DH. We are all set everywhere else. We still need some bullpen arms. But other than shortstop, DH, bullpen, we are set up pretty nicely here. Not really too crazy about any of these reliever free agents. Honestly, I will throw an offer Pete Fairbanks' direction, just cause. I like his movement rating, so we will take a look at him. And other than that, I don't know. I mean, it's really kind of slim pickings out there on the shortstop market. So yeah, none of these teams really have anyone. I like to go look at the rebuilding teams and see if there's anyone we can pick off of them, but Colson Montgomery, same thing, and he's pretty young. I don't think they'd probably want to deal him. Ernie Clement is not a particularly great defender, nor is Addison Barger. Andres Jimenez might be interesting, honestly, but he's getting paid a lot of money, and he doesn't actually play shortstop in this game, even though he has previously, I do believe. But regardless, Nats are also rebuilding. C.J. Abrams, I mean, they're not going to want to give us C.J. Abrams. I'm sure they certainly wouldn't in real life. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to look a little bit even deeper, and I'll come back when maybe I find somebody. Yeah, so there really just aren't a lot of good defensive shortstops out there right now. I mean, I'm filtering by fielding potential at short is at least 65, and among major leaguers, there's only 7 of them, unless you want to count Edwin Arroyo and Nick Ahmed, who I would argue are not major league caliber players as of this moment. So I guess we got to drop down to 60. I tried looking at trades for Rojas, even Ortiz, and Ritter, but none of those teams really wanted to play ball. It's like Paul DeJong. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I can't remember if it's Paul DeJong or Paul DeJong. Is a pretty decent option. I mean, he's at least a pretty decent defender at shortstop. League average power, below average everything else hitting wise. But 5.5 million is just a lot. I mean, maybe we'll see if he would be willing to take like 3. And if he ends up coming back to us and we haven't found anyone yet, then maybe we'll take a look at that. Same thing with Nicky Lopez, but I mean, this is what you're going to get with Nicky Lopez. Like, you're not going to get really any good hitting at all. I mean, he might get on base every once in a while, but no slug whatsoever, no homers. He's a pretty good defensive shortstop. We'll sign him. We'll offer him. We'll offer him this minor league deal. At the very least, we'll have someone, a warm body to fill the spot. All right, so Jason Adams really being a little bit of a difficult customer here, so I think we're going to jump off of those negotiations. In true Pirates fashion, there's no way that they ever go, more than one bid, maybe 2 bids at most on a guy. So we will pull the Bob Nutting special and not sign him. Other than that, though, not a whole lot of. Oh, didn't really notice like Pierce Johnson down here, Laza. Maybe we can go after Jonathan Loaizaga if he's not commanding much money. We can take a look at that. Why not? Offer him 3 million. See if he is willing to accept that. Alrighty, so we got another reliever signed on for 2026, Jonathan Loaizaga, aka Johnny Lasagna, and we are going to have to free up a spot for him by waiving and DFAing someone. I think Emmanuel Valdez is probably a pretty safe guy to DFA. I highly doubt that anyone's going to claim him. So we will send him back off of the 40-man roster. And Johnny Lasagna is going to be a part of our bullpen this year. So as of right now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a long reliever that we're pretty happy with. So I would say we probably want 1 or 2 more relievers. Maybe we could sign one. I mean, we'll be able to probably claim one off of waivers right before the season too. So some years is a good idea to spread your money around across a few prospects. Some years there is a obvious top prospect that is probably the right idea to go ahead and sign him. This year I don't see any of those guys, so I think we will probably try to spread the wealth around a little bit. I like Wilson Zavala. Ooh, yeah, I like him a lot. And he is also a high work ethic and high intelligence guy, so we will definitely try to go after him. Maybe try and give him try and get in front of the bidding war. Maybe try to give him 3.75. Then we'll have $1 million to spend on one other player or a couple other players. And we got a note from our very best friend, a guy that I love to death. Oh yeah, I mean penny pincher doesn't even begin to. But we got a nice note from Robert Nutting letting us know that we actually have $8 million more, believe it or not. I don't know what must have happened for. I mean, maybe he won the lottery or something. Probably. That's kind of got to be it, I would think. And our attendance was up a little bit last year, so that's pretty exciting. We are going to have to try to improve on that further next year and try to get the Pirates' first above 500 season since 2018. I think that that's probably a more realistic goal than making the playoffs. I think we could make the playoffs, but I think that a realistic goal to have is to finish better than 500. Anyway, oh, what the? Oh, oh, that is ridiculous. I mean, ew. I mean, come on, game. What is that garbage? Seriously, fix that though. That's fine. So the preseason has begun, and this is usually a pretty good time to grab some players on minor league free agent deals. guys that you can stash in the minors as depth. So John Park, interesting. I mean, why not? We'll give him a contract. We'll give Syndergaard a deal. I like that a lot. He probably could, bring some butts into some seats here in Pittsburgh. Actually, I really like that. That's kind of fun. So hopefully he'll sign with us. Brian Howard, I like that movement rating. I think that's probably about good for pitchers. Give DL Hall a minor league deal because he could be a pretty decent reliever. See if we can get any good hitters that we can use as backups. Let's see, I know Thomas Neat. Oh, he wants some money. Try to find a good like third or fourth catcher here. Roberto Perez will do the job. 60 defense behind the plate. If we can find a shortstop that could maybe be competent enough, Paul DeYoung. Yeah, we can do this for him. We will get Paul DeJong there, Paul DeYoung, whatever, however you say it. Let's see, any of these guys have Pablo Reyes? Oof. All right, Nick Allen, that'll be fine. 55 defense at short. We'll give Reyes a deal just for fun, and see if maybe we can get a center fielder to sign on, backup center fielder. Blake Perkins looks like the man for the job. Ooh, Michael Gigliotti also has some pretty dang good defensive ratings, so we will sign him on. He actually looks like a pretty decent player if he was able to increase that power at all. He might actually compete for our backup outfielder role, but we'll see. So, yeah, that's the start of the preseason. We'll be back at the beginning of spring training, and we are coming up on the end of this offseason. Pretty exciting stuff. And some bad news. Well, actually, some good news because Andrew McCutchen got himself a major league deal, making $9 million a year. Good for him. He is going to be on the Colorado Rockies, so maybe he's trying to buff those stats up a little bit as he makes his case for a spot in Cooperstown. Good for you, Kutch. I don't think the fans in real life would actually be um, all that mad. I think they'd be happy to see him get another deal somewhere else. Not surprised that the clubhouse is sad to see Kutch leave. He seems like a really good guy, a good leader. Paul Goldschmidt inks a deal with the Los Angeles Angels. Wow. Interesting. Quick look at the Hall of Fame voting results. Carlos Beltran is inducted in his fourth year of eligibility. Andrew Jones just missed in his second to last year on the ballot. A-Rod getting up there, getting pretty close. Ryan Braun, another steroid guy. That's crazy. I mean, I don't think he was ever that good. I mean, he was really good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's 45% in his first Hall of Fame year with the steroids good or without, to be honest. But that's just me. Just me. He was really good in his prime, his peak, which was like I don't know, kind of like 4 years, but also kind of like 6. All right, Ryan Braun. Man Ram drops off the ballot. Too bad. So does a bunch of other guys. Kyle Lose. Wow, that's kind of funny. I mean, like Rafael Betancourt, would he be on the ballot in real life? There's no way. Joaquin Benoit gets one. Octavio Dotel, rest in peace, gets what looks like one vote. All right, some more good news. Paul DeYoung, and I looked it up on. Thank you to Baseball Reference for having a pronunciation guide, one of the greatest websites on the planet, in my opinion, if not my favorite of all time. But Paul DeYoung has signed on, and I think he's going to probably be our starting shortstop at the beginning of the season, at least. So hopefully we can get some of those St. Louis Cardinals years, like when he had 30 bombs. Pretty awesome stuff right here. He was great to start his career. Um, really fell off after that, unfortunately, but we'll see if we can get some vintage Paul DeYoung play. I guess we'll DFA Chong in his place. I think that our lineup is just about all set at this point. What else are we missing? Oh, a DH. Yeesh. Oof, nice voice crack there, but yeah. So we would like to find a DH. I mean, Jack Sawinski could be that guy when he comes back, but kind of forgot about that. Well, we did get a little bit more money off of our generous old friend, Bob Nutting, so see if maybe we can swing a trade or something for someone who might be worth using as RDH. All right, so pretty exciting trade here, if you ask me. The Seattle Mariners have Randy Arozarena on the trade block, and we are not going to have to give up a whole lot to get him. So we're giving him Carlson Reed, who is a 23-year-old minor league pitcher who had a pretty good year last year. In a couple levels of the minors that he's probably too old to really be pitching at, but he did have a good year there. Will Benson, who is a decently valuable, in my opinion. I mean, he's a good defensive corner outfielder. Speed, power, eye. Don't think he's an absolute nothing burger here in this trade. Liover Peguero, who I want to say at one point was a pretty reasonably well regarded prospect. I mean, he was traded along with Brennan Malone for Starling Marte, and Starling Marte was pretty good back in those days, I do believe, and he's still not terrible now. And then Anthony Solimento, who is pretty much just a throw-in. And we are going to be getting Randy Arozarena for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pretty exciting stuff, if you ask me. He is going to be our DH, I would assume, and the fans are pretty excited about that. I'm sure that they are pretty excited to see the team actually making some moves and actually trying to build a good product on the field. Poor Pirates fans. I feel bad for you guys if there's any of you listening. So Rosarena will be our DH this season. I mean, he's not the best hitter ever, but he'll hit some doubles. He will walk. I think that he's a good guy to add to this lineup. And in left field, I think it will be Will Brennan as of right now. So that is a spot that we could look to upgrade at some point in this season, but I'm not feeling too bad. I mean, we're going to get Jack Sawinski back, who is probably an upgrade over Will Brennan. Actually, definitely is an upgrade over Will Brennan, I would say. So that is not a bad place to be. I'm liking where the team is at right now, to be completely honest. Maybe we could add one more bullpen piece, but other than that, I think that we are pretty much to the point where we are at or around our final form. We have $300 left for free agents, so couldn't even buy a PS5 with our remaining budget, but that's okay for now. I mean, worst case scenario, we can try to flip somebody like maybe a Ezekiel Duran or something like that. But I think we're all good for right now. All right, so we are here at the first day of spring training. We got a little bit of a player development update. All right, looks like Brian Mata has fallen off a little bit. Hunter Barco. Will Banfield gets a few improvements. Power increases to 50, league average power. I rating improves a bit. Potential I rating improves a bit. Wow. So he's actually looking, I mean, not really good, but somewhat decent. Ezekiel Duran fall off a little bit. Not too much interesting stuff going on, though. So we are just going to get right into spring training here. I mean, I've been dying to get into it. Feels like it's been forever. This has been a long off season as we have tried to fix things up around here, but hopefully it will all be worth it. So we will send a few of these guys up to big league camp just for fun. Gigliotti, Chong, Brian Howard can go. Nicky Lopez. Oh, Syndergaard definitely. Maybe try to send a couple extra catchers up there. Roberto Perez, McKeithen. Yeah, so I think we're all set there. What I like to do is just clear everything, clear the pitching staff, clear lineups, clear depth charts. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to make sure that our guy O'Neal Cruz is starting every game at right field because we need to get his rating there up for start him at right. And by the end of spring training, he should be at least somewhat competent, and then I think that he's going to turn himself into a really, really good right fielder when all is said and done. So that is about all we're going to do for now, and unless anything big happens, see you at the end of spring training where we will finalize the opening day roster. All right, so our development lab results have come in, and I already see some good news. Paul Skeen's outstanding result on improving his control, and I see the current rating moved up from 55 to 60. Potential, I believe, moved up from 65 to 70, so that is good news. Jace Young, no improvement. That's too bad. Starting to think that he might not really be good. O'Neal Cruz says that we got a successful result, although I haven't seen the rating change, but hopefully that will show up in the stats and everything. Gibson, Long, and Harrington, no improvement. Brannigan, successful, generating power. All right, that looks pretty good. He might honestly come up and play some ball for the Pittsburgh Pirates at some point this year. I hate the way that they do this with the two-way players. Like, why is he being used as a two-way player? He sucks at pitching. Like, he's better than a random dude, but he sucks. Like, no, he's a shortstop and a third. He's an infielder. Like, come on. But anyway, Levi Sterling, we get an outstanding result for him. That looks pretty nice. He's still the number 72 prospect. Termar Johnson, nothing. That's too bad. But he's still looking pretty darn good. I would not be surprised to see him at some point this year in Pittsburgh. All right, here we are at the very beginning of the season, opening day. Although it's not opening day for us, but the day where we have to have our roster and everything finalized. So, first of all, we will take a look at. Here we go. All right, try to stay close to an even record. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. We can take a quick look at the top prospects and everything. Let's see, Pittsburgh, we got Johnson 62, Willett 69. We got a lot of good pitching prospects. So Wilson Zavala, who is the oh shoot, I totally forgot. Ha! What an idiot I am. Totally forgot to sign any more freaking free agents. That's unfortunate. There's not really much left. All right, so this is what we're going to be doing with that extra $1 million. You might say this is ridiculous or this is unrealistic, whatever. I'll just say, when you're the Pirates, sometimes if the Kansas City Royals want to make a trade, maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe they really like someone that's still left in the international pool, So we're going to be sending them $1 million worth of international bonus pool, along with Yoldine De La Paz, a decent-looking relief pitcher prospect. Decent might be a little of a stretch, but you know what I mean. Hunter Stratton, who pitched for the Pirates a little bit in 23, 24, and has pitched a little bit for them this year. And Christian Curtis, who is a 2.5-star right-handed pitching prospect with a pretty good fastball, pretty good slider. Going to give up a lot of home runs, doesn't really know where the ball is going, but maybe has a chance to be something decent. And in return, we are going to be getting Griffin Jacks. So, pretty excited about this trade. Somehow, you guys have seen this whole offseason. Somehow our money is at negative $31 million now, so we don't have a lot of money to spend, but that's how it goes. So, I'm sorry. We got to go back to the top 100 prospects. We got Bubba Chandler at number 27, Levi Sterling 70, Mitch Voigt back down to 38, but that's still pretty cool. Carlos Martinez, his ratings have gone down a lot. Ugh, nasty. OSA still is pretty high on him. That sucks. But yeah, we got a lot of pretty top 100 prospects, and a lot of these guys were not in the organization last year. Voigt, Martinez, Zavala, Willits. See how our system is ranked compared to other ones around baseball. We are number 11. Not terrible. So, that is that. Take a look at the preseason predictions real quick, see what they expect us to do, and they think we're going to suck. So, they might be right. They might just be right, but I think that they're wrong. I think we're going to be at least better than 70 and 92. I'm pretty sure about that, but we will see. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set up this team and come back, let you know what we're going to do. Alright, so looking here at the waiver wire, got to see if there is anyone we'd be interested in claiming. Definitely would like to claim Alec Thomas. We can't afford it. Okay, so we can afford guys who are making the league minimum, and that's it. So, makes a lot of sense because we are apparently $30 million over on our budget. Big surprise. Probably Bob Nutting pulled the old bait and switch on us, said that we had more money, and then he's like, actually, no. We're going to go ahead and claim Reed Garrett. Let's see. Jose Budo? All right. So nothing really too exciting here. Just gonna make sure we're not missing out on anyone. We would like to get, if there's any good relievers or anything in here. Ooh, I'll take a shot at Brian Rocchio too. Almost thought about trading for him this offseason, but I'm glad I didn't because it looks like I'm gonna get him for free now. Luis Heel, definitely gonna take a look at that. And most of these guys will end up just re-waving them and hoping that they get through and we can stash them in the minors. But we do have how we are going to line up our team, so we'll start with the pitching staff. Obviously, Paul Skeens is going to be our ace. Mackenzie Gore is going to follow him up in the second spot in our rotation. Jared Jones at the 3. Sawyer Gibson-Long at the 4, after he had an excellent season last year. Bailey Falter at the 5, after he also had a very excellent season last year. For the bullpen, we're going to go with a stopper model. So basically, according to my understanding of it, these guys, they're just, like, it's pretty much the same thing as if we made Rodriguez a closer and these two setup men, but they can stay in for, they're just a little more flexible, like they can stay in for a couple innings or whatever. So Randy Rodriguez is effectively going to be our closer. Kirby Yates is going to be our 8th inning man. Jonathan Loizaga is going to be our 7th inning man. Danny Young is going to be our top middle reliever, used more often, also going to be used as a lefty specialist when necessary. Chase Lee, his ratings are just precipitously dropping, but he's going to be a middle reliever for us as well, as will Carmen Mlodzinski. Thomas Harrington is going to be a long reliever to start the year. Honestly, though, I think I would rather start him off as a starting pitcher in AAA and then maybe call up someone like Shugart, who had a pretty decent year for us last year, to be one of our long relievers. And then Mike Burrows will be our other long man. So that is how the pitching staff is going to shake out. I would say that our starting rotation is actually pretty strong. Our bullpen kind of stinks a little bit, but also I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually somewhat effective. And that's the type of thing that we can definitely improve on midseason if we are looking like we might be in a playoff hunt. But the lineup, it's not the best. It's really not, but Spencer Horwitz is going to lead off, play first base. Randy Arozarena at DH, he is going to bat second. O'Neill Cruz in the 3 spot, playing right, and he's already up to a 60 overall in right field, and with the potential of a 70, so he's going to be an elite defender out there. Nick Gonzalez is going to hit cleanup, mainly because he actually has some contact, and he can hit some doubles. He hit 23 of them last year in 73 games, so that's a pretty darn good pace. Grisham is going to hit 5th in center, so I'm not too. I'm pretty happy about the top 5 of our lineup. I think that they're going to be able to produce some runs, but once we get down into the bottom half, Paul DeYoung is going to bat 6th. Will Brennan is going to bat 7th. I think that's a good spot for him. And then Patrick Bailey and Ke'Bryan Hayes are probably not going to add a whole lot offensively, but both are excellent defenders. No platoons. This is how we're going for now. Billy Cook, Ezekiel Duran, Jace Young, Will Banfield are going to be on our bench. And I'm thinking probably that sooner, maybe rather than later, we are going to try to replace Ke'Bryan Hayes, whether that be with Jack Brannigan, even maybe Christian Cairo, or Nicky Lopez. We have a few different options, but I think we're definitely going to be looking to do that. Even Ezekiel Duran here might be a better option than Ke'Bryan Hayes, even Jace Young. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, we'll ride with the elite defense. Our minor leagues, just way too many players in the minor leagues. As you can see, like, wow, ridiculous. So what I like to do in this situation, this probably is not the smartest thing to do, or it's probably not the way that, it's probably not the smartest thing to do, but honestly, I think it's fine. I like to go potential is less than 2 stars. All players, 83. Sounds about right. And just release all of them. Okay, then we can set up the minor leagues right now. And you can see it has gotten a little bit better. Yeah, I think that that's about it. So that is going to be it for the episode. That is how we are going to line it up this year. We start off our season in a few days on April 2nd against the New York Mets. Should be a pretty fun series. Yeah, and I think that's about it for this episode. So thank you very much for tuning in, and make sure to get this next episode, the season episode, out as soon as possible. And if you want to, go ahead and drop a wins prediction in the comments. I'm going to be honest and probably say 77. 77 is going to be my guess, but go ahead and give me a guess down in the comment section. I'm sure somebody's going to be an ass and say like 41. And you might be right, honestly. This team might completely suck, and I might be overestimating it a little bit, but I feel pretty good about where we're at, so we'll just have to see. But thank you again for tuning in, and talk to you soon.